Hello. What is up, everybody? Holy crap. What a day. Uh this morning was absolutely crazy. That Xbox showcase, everything that we saw beyond expectations. We expected to see a lot of games, and we got that. We didn't expect them to look that good. We didn't expect it to be that jam-packed. We didn't expect that many just big games over and over and over and over again. Took a lot out of me. I mean, it's like just exhausting watching the thing because your hype level and adrenaline are so high. But then I had to take a nap. I ended up falling asleep for a couple hours. Then I watched the Mavs lose. It's not all rainbows today. My Mavs played hard today. Luka gave his all. He's beat up and battered, but he tried. And we fell short in Boston for game 2. So we're going to be in Dallas next 2 games. But you know what? You know what? It's okay right now. Because this Xbox showcase, the Xbox games, everything that we saw today that's coming into Game Pass and all this stuff, has carried me through. I'm good right now. I don't think anything could bring me down. All these games, like if you're a gamer and you've been waiting for something to kind of wow you, some kind of show or games or whatever, just to kind of make you feel like, oh shit, this is amazing. Today was the day. Today was the motherfucking day. And I want to thank everybody who hung out with us for our co-stream today. You guys rock. I know there's tons of people that have been doing content and streams and everything for the show. And for y'all that chose to hang out with us, super appreciate you. If you didn't and you watched after the fact, super appreciate you. If you just stop by and say hi, you guys are all amazing. If you're here now, appreciate you as well. You guys are absolutely amazing for being here. I see lots of awesome people. Shout out to Nate Dogg, Frizzle, Stephen Avery, OCD Gamer, Rand Althor, bro. Rand, I think Xbox just teabagged the entire fucking industry, dude. Unflushed Turd says Doom Baby. What's up? Jax82 says what a day. What's going on? Man, Ghost Fixter, Steel was hype as fuck with us earlier today. And like there was only a couple of steely ass Steel games there, but still the games were so crazy and impressive. The Steel was like a hype out of his ass over all those crazy games. So PTK was hanging out with us. Pong was hanging out with us. 3-Bit's back off his honeymoon, hanging out with us. And you could tell he was exhausted. So shout out to 3-Bit for hanging out with us. But man, it was absolutely fucking crazy this morning. I'm still a little bit like, we've been hyping this show up. We've been telling everybody that's had the cloud, saying there's a cloud hanging over the show. Everybody that's saying, oh, you know, I'm just having a hard time getting excited about this one because, you know, what Xbox is doing and there's so many questions and all everybody's going to wonder is if what games are going to PlayStation. So it's hard to get excited about playing Xbox or all that stuff, right? All of that conversation, all of that kind of lack of excitement. We've been telling people, we've been telling everybody, this is going to be an amazing freaking show. This is going to be the Xbox showcases of showcases because there's no reason to hold back anymore. They've been talking about it, saying they've been working on this show for 6 months. There's no reason to hold back. And they delivered. Oh boy, did they deliver. So yeah, super excited about what they showed. And yeah, it was one of the show that we said they needed to have to where it kind of put the industry on notice, right? Like they can't not pay attention. They can't act oblivious anymore. These people that have been acting like they don't know what games exist or like they forget about all these games that have been in development and just think they are just vaporware or something. Like the games media that doesn't actually pay attention to what Xbox is actually doing and lacks any kind of knowledge or information when they're speaking about it, about the platform, about what's coming, about all these studios, about the games. They're so ignorant to so much of it. And we felt like Xbox needed to have that show that just shut everybody up. That just kind of like was like so obvious and so in your face that it put the industry on notice. And I think part of it is having ABK now as part of Xbox because it brought in a new audience. Even people that were at the Summer Game Fest and especially also at the Xbox show and stuff, talking around the communities are more tied together now because you get, I saw Jez made a post about, there's Fallout creators, there's like people that are fans of the Blizzard games and creators for them, and then there's Call of Duty creators and all this kind of stuff, and it's like one big community now. It's more than just the traditional old school Xbox community. This is bigger. It's grown, right? It's grown to something much more massive, and there's a lot more eyes on all this paying more attention to what's going on now. And you had tons of people that are just Call of Duty fans watching the show, and then they started the show with Call of Duty, and then they end it with Call of Duty Direct. It's showing Call of Duty in the best way that they've shown it in a long time, with the developer direct style, which was absolutely awesome to see because that brought genuine excitement from the Call of Duty community. But like the most important thing for me overall in this show was not that we got to see Perfect Dark, not that we got to see Fable, not that we got to see State of Decay 3, not that we got to see Gears, that we got to see these games. It's how fucking awesome they looked. And then not only do we get to see all those games, but they bring out these other games that we've never heard of that looked amazing too. Games like it's the 33 game. It always gets in my head because there's 33 Immortals, but there's this new one that they just announced, and it was like medieval fantasy style, but then it's like JRPG mechanics and stuff, and it just looked absolutely incredible. That was an amazing game to see. Like, you had stuff like that just showing up. You had the Atomfall game from Rebellion. Yeah, 33, Expedition 33. Yes, that was like, what? Like, the mechanics for the JRPG style looked like a Lost Odyssey style gameplay. And I was like, what is this? We also had, it turned out that a lot of the rumors and leaks were fake, either fake or they were not true. There was stuff going around about Blue Dragon showing up again. There was stuff about a big shadow drop of some new game, or there was stuff about IP revival, all those kind of things too. And so some of those didn't turn out to be true, but what turned out to be true was kind of what we've been speculating. They're just going to show up and show a shit ton of games. It's absolutely crazy how much of a shift there is right now mentally with the games media and people that have been all so doom and gloom on Xbox. Now there's some that are just going to remain that way. The people are like, all that matters is exclusives and stuff, and that's all they're paying attention to is what games are announced as exclusive or what games are not and stuff like that. But for the people that care about the games, people that really just care about playing good games and knowing you're going to get access to those games, have been there watching, and we were all just fucking wowed. It was absolutely amazing. So they killed it. They did exactly what they needed to do. James Thomas says, Mindshare is all Xbox needed. Now they got to run with it. Yeah, they got to not trip over the rakes, right? They got to make sure they deliver on some of this stuff, like not have any crazy long delays on anything that's coming soon and stuff like that. Like not have any half-baked stuff drop that really sends people on a negative note. Like you can get that mindshare and create this positive mindset. It can actually affect the outlook and perception on the things that you're playing, partaking in, reviewing, all these kind of things. It has an overall cumulative effect, like just because that way you think about things, right? And that's just what it's all about. Frizzle says, did I watch Phil's interview? Not yet, actually. I watched the Mavs game, and then I went downstairs, got a drink, came back up, set up the stream, and then went live. So I want to watch the Phil interview. I can play it here, and we can listen to it together. I did read kind of like transcript of it on Twitter when I was watching the Mavs, but I didn't actually hear what he had to say. But I think that probably there's nothing new worth noting. I just imagine that Phil's probably pretty damn happy. Yeah, James Thomas said we got the Avowed Release date is November the 12th. That was something that was missing from the show, was a couple of the release dates, and that was something that we mentioned when we were doing the co-stream. It was like, oh, when does this come out, or when does this come out? And then, like, it's weird that they didn't have a date, but like Avowed came out shortly after, and they said when the date was. And I forget who it was, but somebody had pointed out that maybe this was because they've been working on this showcase for so long, they just didn't know at the time, right? But Avowed, we got a date. I still don't think we have a date for Indiana Jones, if I'm right about that. I don't know if they've came out and said that as well. But the cool thing to see is that we had a lot of information on Xbox blog posts about a lot of these games, and there's like really cool shit. Like State of Decay 3 came out that Obsidian has been working with them on their online component. Of course, we already knew about the stuff that Coalition was doing with them and stuff with the graphics. But overall, I mean, these studios are working together to make these games better. And Eidos Montreal came out and officially announced that they are helping with Fable. And holy shit, guys, if there was a game that blew my mind, if there was a game that just blew my fucking mind, it was Fable. And I got to give 3-Bit props. But 3-Bit worked on some of that stuff that was in the game that we saw, some of the environments and stuff. So he did amazing. We can't blame 3-Bit for anything. If we're gonna blame 3-Bit for things, we got to give him credit where credit is due. And it was absolutely awesome. So Stephen Avery asked, who's helping with Fables? Eidos Montreal has been helping with Fable, which we kind of has been teased before. We already kind of knew about this. We've known about this for over a year, actually, but they kind of made it official that Eidos Montreal is helping on Fable. Crystal Dynamics is helping on Perfect Dark, obviously, and we saw that trailer, and that's another one. Like, what I'm saying, guys, is like, it's not just that we got to see these games, is that we got to see these games look amazing. Like, Perfect Dark, it just looked crazy. Like, it looked... I wouldn't have imagined it looking like that. It's like a cross between Deus Ex. You can get the classic Perfect Dark vibes in there. Then you got like a little bit of like, I saw people say Dying Light or like Mirror's Edge, movement and style and fluidity to it as well. But then you had the like assassinations for the close quarters stuff as well that just looked absolutely fucking amazing. Guys, this was nuts. This was absolutely nuts. Shout out to everybody who had predicted this was going to be a good showcase, and not all the people are like, it's not going to be that great. They put the industry on notice. They really did. I want to kind of go to see if I can't bring this up here. There we go. I got the Discord showing up over there. I'm gonna kind of play this showcase. Why not? While we're talking, I just gotta bring up my camera. I have the wrong one here. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, this show. They started out with Call of Duty, starting out with the bang. I kind of want to play this and then have the audio from Phil's interview. See what he has to say. Maybe we can do that. Give me a second here. I move that up. All right, there we go. I should do a poll. What do you guys think? We have a poll in the chat. Let's do a poll. All right, Xbox Games Showcase. Best ever. Just a simple question. Is everybody who thinks this is the best Xbox showcase ever? Someone needs to put missing notices on milk cartons for Dreamcast guy. That dude disappeared faster than Jimmy Hoffa. It's funny that he was trending like as much as like the showcase stuff today. It's not necessarily why you'd want to be trending. You know what I mean? Like looking like a idiot for saying this was going to be a 4. So even if I saw somebody in the chat say he ended up giving it an 8, even if he gave it an 8, that's double what he said originally. So the guy has basically taken one of the biggest L's ever in content creation history for gaming. Shout out to also Jeff Keeley, who's tried for whatever reason. I think it's because you remember when Jeff Keeley said years ago that Xbox was like basic cable and PlayStation was HBO, right? Keeley has a PlayStation shit at his show. Obviously, he has like exclusive, or not exclusive, sorry, a multi-platform, a PlayStation game showing there for the first time with Lego Horizon. He has some other PlayStation content there as well, like Phantom Blade Zero and stuff. Like, you know, it had the strong PlayStation vibes. And we know how Keeley feels about PlayStation. He loves it, right? And that's fine. He can like PlayStation, whatever. But remember when he said that in an interview before, and it kind of got around and stuff. That's like the perception that he thinks people have of Xbox and stuff. Well, then Keeley does this Summer Game Fest where he has all this PlayStation stuff, and everybody fucking hated it. Even his own audience, the people he put the poll up for, his PlayStation heavy was like, this is a D, dude. This is a D. This isn't even basic cable. This is fucking PBS, right? This is trash. People felt that about Summer Game Fest. They were like, do better, Jeff. Give us a reason to watch this show. They were saying it sucked. Then the Xbox Showcase comes out, which is supposed to be basic cable, comes out and delivers a masterpiece, as many people are calling it. One of the best showcases ever. Even Keeley's own poll was like at a 70% almost of A rating, right? Just very well received. Everybody is dumbfounded with the showcase that Xbox had. So Xbox was like HBO. Summer Game Fest was basic cable. The State of Play was trash. That was like fucking, I don't know. That was like a Dreamcast guy YouTube video. That was just straight up ass. State of Play was just bad, right? Summer Game Fest was okay. It was just whatever. And then Xbox came out there and killed it with the content, which is what it's all about, right? What it's all about is the fucking games. At the end of the day, that's what we want. I saw Keeley come out there and try and put the kibosh on Gears, saying, "Oh, this was CG. This trailer was CG." Then you had the Gears team actually come out there and correct his ass. That was fucking hilarious. Multiple people were clearing up Keeley's misinformation that he was trying to spread on the Gears trailer. After all this stuff, Keeley's out there spreading bullshit about Gears. He actually had the devs actually correct his ass, which was hilarious. So overall, I think he's a little like, I think Keeley's feels a little bad right now. Feels a little bad. You know, I think he's like, well, you know, my Summer Game Fest was average, right? My platform I've been propping up is going multi-plat, even on my own show. State of Play was crappy, and then here comes Xbox and just dunks on all of us. And games like this, Doom. Like, we knew Doom was going to be here, right? But we were all curious, what is it going to look like? What is Doom going to be like? And then they come out there with the fucking chainsaw shield, with a gun that uses skulls as crushed up skulls as bullets, with like a giant mech Doom thing with a fucking fur cape. This is just nuts. It looked better than anybody would have imagined it, with the gameplay and the graphics. Everything just looked absolutely amazing and apeshit crazy. Like, for the games, that's the biggest thing, wow factor about this show, is it wasn't just that they had games, it was that how amazing the games looked and how fun they looked, how awesome they looked. That's what they delivered here. Because if the games were just like whatever, yeah, they would just exist and people would be like, oh yeah, it's like, okay. But people want to play these fucking games. The fur cape sold me a little bit, Jasper. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the fur cape at the beginning and I was like, that's pretty fucking badass fur cape. You're riding a dragon. Did you see that? You're riding a dragon in Doom. You're spitting fire as a little dragon into a bigger dragon in Doom. This is insane. It's insanity. 96% of the poll says yes. This was the best Xbox showcase ever. I need to revise this poll. Was this the best game showcase ever? Period. Because this overwhelmingly, yes. The only one I can think of that's coming to mind right now is like the 2016 PlayStation show that they had was really amazing. Fuck, State of Decay 3 looked amazing. Like Undead Labs stepping up big time, guys. This is crazy. All right, let's see. Best gaming showcase ever. We'll revise the poll because it's obviously the best Xbox one ever. That was the most Doom gun you've ever seen. Psycho says, shout out to Psycho, dude. I wish you were able to join us earlier. But I get it. You got your PC issues and stuff right now. But everybody was just over the moon for this show. Is there anybody that didn't like it? Has anybody seen somebody come out and say they didn't like the show? Is anybody actually going that far off the deep end? Jacob Tupua says, saw an idiot pony trashing Indiana Jones because Harrison Ford isn't voicing him. Dude, like, I gotta admit, like, when I saw that or heard that Troy Baker was going to be the voice, or when we saw where they mentioned him, I'm like, oh, okay, you know. But when you actually watch the gameplay and hear the voice, he does a fucking amazing job. And he's playing a young Indy. I don't know if you could really accomplish that with Harrison Ford now. Yeah, it'd be amazing, but this gives them an opportunity to keep telling this story, have a continued series. Like, if he does that good of a job, I mean, watching the Indiana Jones trailer was like watching an Indiana Jones movie. The way they set up the scene, the humor in it, the little details of how they did the writing, like just every aspect of that scene that we saw play out in Indiana Jones today looked like an Indiana Jones movie. And it felt like I was watching something amazing that just came straight from Indiana Jones. Maybe even better than anything we've seen Indiana Jones in the movies in a long time. Like, that was like, holy shit moment also. And that's just one game. And that's one game we knew was coming this year. Absolutely insane. Still, you're playing Gears 5 right now? I don't know if I've seen this much universal love for a showcase ever. Griffin Gaming said it was mid, not great or bad. Okay. Fallout 4's mod limit is 2 gigabyte console. Starfield's limit is 99.97 gigabytes. Wow. So you're going to be able to have 100 gigs of mods. Kate's already downloading mods right now. She installed the Shut Up Korra mod. Xbox has so many huge games. Yeah, it's like the industry finally noticed that, right? It took acquiring ABK, drawing more attention. It took getting ZeniMax Bethesda, drawing more attention. It took having this full slate across all those studios and publishers at one show to put the industry on notice. But that's what they did. I mean, they even had Dragon Age show up at the show, and nobody's even talking or caring about the fact that we just saw Dragon Age because of everything else that we saw. Dragon Age, I like the trailer. I want to see what the game actually looks like. We'll see that on the 11th. Now, I think they're going back to kind of some of the roots of the franchise, so I'm not expecting like this jaw-dropping like thing. I'm expecting to see something more in the lines of what we got with the original Dragon Ages, except just looks better, and that's what I'm hoping for actually. That style of gameplay, more closer to a Baldur's Gate style, but we'll see. Do I think Perfect Dark is 2025 or 2026? I'm crossing my fingers for 2025, but the fact that they didn't say the date makes me think it could be the year makes me think it could be 2026. I was glad that we saw Fable says 2025. But Perfect Dark, like, I see why it's taking so long. Like, I think when we saw Perfect Dark, we were like, oh, it makes sense that this game's taking a long time because this shit's ambitious as fuck, right? To create that kind of game in this day and age from scratch that looks that good with everything that they're doing with it, that's an undertaking. They're not using assets from other things. This is all from the ground up, brand new game that they're all creating with the initiative and Crystal Dynamics, and it looks really damn impressive. So yeah, it makes sense for me, like, now after we see it, what's been going on. And yeah, I would imagine it's been a struggle to get to that point. You know, that looks like a hard game to get to that point. Like, it's combining lots of different elements. The graphics look amazing. The environment looked amazing. The gameplay looked fun. It looked like something that we've never really played before with the way that they are combining everything. With the movement, the stealth aspects, the first-person gameplay, the gadgets. It's kind of like Deus Ex, but like more action-based, right? Like, was really cool to see. 2026 could be Perfect Dark, Contraband, and Blade. Yeah, we did. Like, there's so many games that we didn't even see here. You know, Contraband was one. We didn't see Towerborn. They made a post that said that they're going to have more to see later this summer. So Towerborn, obviously we'll see that again this year and get an update. We'll see probably, what was the other one that we didn't see that's slated for this year? I know there's Ara History Untold, which that's launching first on PC. And that we already got that game at the Dev Direct, I think, if I remember correctly. So it's okay. Like, it makes sense. Maybe that's why it's not here. But Ara looks great from what we've seen, and that's a PC first anyway. So overall, like, this was just a game full of Xbox games. I think World of Warcraft was maybe the only game here that was only on PC. Was there any other games that I'm not thinking of that was only on PC? Outer Worlds 2 was missing. Yeah, who knows where they are in the development process for that. You're right, Nate. OCD Flight Sim looked amazing. Replaced was missing. That was one that we thought would be there. I think people said that we're playing it at the Summer Game Fest, so it is surprising that maybe that's one that they kind of cut out for time. I'm going to play this Phil Spencer interview. I said I was going to. I want to hear what he has to say. Can y'all hear this?
Welcome to IGN Live. Earlier today, we got a brand new Xbox game showcase from Phil Spencer and his team, featuring a ton of reveals and surprises.
That crowd is
There's
hype.
a lot to talk about. Who better to talk about the present and future of Xbox than the
Ryan
Xbox
McCaffrey
himself? They want to hear from you, my friend,
Louder.
not me. Phil Spencer, thank you and welcome to IGN Live.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody.
So
your energy's incredible.
We have 1 hour together on the dot, and we have some friends coming in halfway through, some other awesome Xbox developers. So
people who actually build games.
I don't want to waste a second with you here.
That.
And I want to start. I said this earlier on this stage. I think you just had the best showcase you've ever had. I really mean. I said it before you got here.
Thank you, Ryan.
It really was fantastic. Now, I know you plan these things months and months in advance. For anybody that doesn't know, that the planning for this starts like the beginning of the year kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not
crazy.
going to put their video up.
I'm curious, at what point do you, with this one this year, do you get a feeling that, oh, this one's looking pretty good?
Yeah,
Don't be humble. Just tell us the real answer here.
I'll put it small.
Honestly, like, until our fans, the customers, you guys give us the feedback, like, Aaron Greenberg and I were talking about this 2 weeks ago. Now, the thing that probably hit me the most was obviously just the passion of the teams of putting their amazing work on stage and seeing so many teams do great work. But it was based, I'd say, 2 months ago when I just looked at the kind of scale of the franchises, how much work the teams were doing to show up in the way they did, and the partners that we had in the show. Like, I was in awe of this show.
There's a couple games I want to ask you about specifically before we'll talk about some other stuff too. But the one that I said, right, for me, of all the great stuff from today, stole the show for me was something I wasn't expecting to see today again, which was Perfect Dark.
I knew you were going to say that.
Perfect Dark. A first-person spy espionage, some parkour, a little Mirror's Edge in there, which I love.
All playable, like all in-game.
Yeah. And that game's been cooking for a long time.
It has.
That we've followed.
The partners at Crystal have been doing amazing work there.
Yeah, Crystal was brought in to help it keep going. So what has it been like for you to kind of follow the very long trajectory
McCaffrey
of
sounds
that game
hyped.
from, it started with Daryl Gallagher starting a studio. And
Just
now,
down the street.
Yeah, and now we're finally here. Like, so how has it been kind of getting to this point with Perfect Dark?
Yeah, in parallel, building a studio while you're building a game and something that Perfect Dark back to N64 and obviously us
I
with
hear you,
PDC
Flush.
on 360. Like, there's just such anticipation for that game, and I really appreciate everybody's patience because we've been talking about this for a long time. And, like, my team can verify this. When I saw it, I said, this is the one that Ryan's going to love because we know his love for Spy. And I said, this is the one.
Well, I want Splinter Cell. Let's go, Ubisoft.
And it really just came together so well. And, I mean, a cool little story. Daryl had our other studio heads down at the studio just yesterday and walked through that same section in-game to show them, like, this is a game being played. And I love seeing our community of creators coming together that way.
This game looked amazing.
The one more thing, which we were all hoping for and got, was a new Gears of War game, but it wasn't. It wasn't Gears 6.
That was a twist.
It was not
Gears E-Day.
So,
None of us expected that.
You have a visibility into everything, but I'm curious, when you're in a meeting with, maybe it's Matt Booty, maybe it's Alan Hartman, but the Coalition folks, like, when you learn that they've gone down the E-Day road, the prequel road, rather than Gears, like, what was your reaction when you found out that was going to be the next direction for Gears of War?
Well, you know this. We've had some changes in leadership of the studio. Rod, who was there, is now leading Diablo for us. So I actually thought
everybody's happy that I think with the decision.
I thought it was a nice opportunity for that team to establish their Gears, right? And going on following on Gears 5, just because the numerical thing. Like, I think it would this was an opportunity for them to take it back to an origin story that I know you know, that has a lot of, like, real depth to it in terms of Emergence Day, and tell that story through the Coalition as it is today. I thought, like, what a great opportunity. I was excited. And then you probably saw, I know you heard it, the Mad World tune in the play piece.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for those of us who remember the 360 commercial, like, how iconic was that? So when they went back and sourced that and brought that through the piece, I think it just showed that they kind of stayed true to what Gears is, but tell a new story, new arc.
Now, you're wearing a very cool Xbox Pride shirt today, but a year ago at the Xbox Showcase, you freaked out people like me by wearing a Hexen shirt, which is a game that I have very near and dear to my heart. And now, well, then too, you had just acquired Hexen. You own that as a part of many other things. But then today, I see the reveal for Doom: The Dark Ages, and I go, well, wait a second.
How awesome was that?
Hold on. Are you secretly making a Hexen game in the Doom universe? Because I know you and I share the love for this.
Yeah. no, I would like to say I'm actually smart enough to predict anything like that. I wasn't. But definitely, if you look at Doom Dark Ages, and thanks to Marty and the team, they let me introduce that. Right, so I got to come out and like I was
South
going
and
through
Midnight
all my old school
crazy,
stories.
guys.
For those as old as me who remember it's Doom 1 on a floppy going, my only PC that could run it was my PC at Microsoft, so I would sneak it at night, put it in so I could play.
That's awesome.
So the opportunity to stand there and get to announce a Doom and then Doom Dark Ages, which definitely has some hexen in it, and I just thought Hugo and the team, fantastic work. I'm so proud.
Now, I can't help but bring up something that's been a topic of conversation a lot recently, which is that Doom the Dark Ages is also going to ship on PS5, something that you've done with some other games. So can you, from a business level, like, can you walk me through, you paid $7.5 billion to acquire Bethesda's ZeniMax. So what's the calculus, like, what's the process there for deciding, like, okay, new Doom, let's keep it multi-platform as it has been, or just put it on Xbox. So what's kind of the thought process there?
Well, on Doom, it's definitely one of those franchises that has a history on so many devices.
Yeah.
I think they have like Doom running on a lawnmower somewhere when you go back. But and it's a franchise that I think everybody deserves to play. I'm really proud of what the team, and to be honest, like I was in a meeting with Marty and the team a couple of years ago, and I asked Marty what he wanted to do. And he said he wanted to ship it on all platforms. I said, let's go do that. Like, it was as simple as that. Now, I want to bring it back, though, because I get a lot of questions about, hey, if I'm an Xbox owner, what does it mean? And what I want to say, and I thought it showed up so well in the show today, you saw an amazing collection of games that are coming to Xbox. They're going into Game Pass day one. And Game Pass showed up so well. If you buy the game on our console, you get to play it on PC. You buy it on PC, you get so the cross entitlement stuff is all there, and we're focused on future hardware with forward compatibility. Our commitment to our Xbox customers is you're going to get the opportunity to buy or subscribe to the game. We're going to support the game on other screens, and you are going to see more of our games on more platforms. And we just see that as a benefit to the franchises that we're building. And we see that from players, and the players love to be able to play.
Well,
thank you.
There you go. I have to do the journalistically responsible thing now and bring the mood down. Otherwise, the internet would tear me apart. So I wanted to ask you, you haven't really commented publicly much in the last couple months. So I wanted to ask you about the studio closures and Tango Gameworks and some of the thoughts behind the decision making there. I mean, you had a critical darling in Hi-Fi Rush. You had folks like Aaron Greenberg saying it checked all these boxes for us and did all the right things here. So, walk me through the decision of why. Really, Tango specifically, not to disrespect the other studios that were closed, but that was the one that really seemed to kind of stick in the community's craw a bit. So I'm hoping here that you can take the opportunity to address that closure and some of the
He's not
going
to get a clear answer. What can he say?
Yeah, the closure of any team is hard, obviously, on the individuals there, hard on the team. And I try to spend all of my focus, as you said, I haven't been talking publicly about this, because right now is a time for us to focus on the team and the individuals. It's obviously a decision that's very hard on them, and I want to make sure through severance and other things that we're doing the right thing for the individuals on the team. It's not about my PR, it's not about Xbox PR, it's about those teams. In the end, I've said over and over, I have to run a sustainable business inside the company and grow. And that means sometimes I have to make hard decisions that frankly are not decisions I love, but decisions that somebody needs to go make. We will continue to go forward. We will continue to invest in what we're trying to go do in Xbox and build the best business that we can, which ensures we can continue to do shows like the one we just did.
That's all it can really say. Like, what is he going to say?
The Activision Blizzard saga, that's all been, that probably maybe
called it saga?
Well, I don't know. Did it from covering it and watching it, it felt like it put like 5 years on my life.
Yeah.
As somebody that covers Xbox, I can't imagine how it was for you. But as that came to a close, and you started integrating them into Activision Blizzard King, into Xbox Studios, Has that
Danny Passion with a $2 super chat
the way
says,
that you
if I
think
buy a
about
game on
running the
Xbox, can I
business
play
at
it on
all?
PlayStation?
Because
Nope.
The organization just got quite a bit
Xbox
larger,
and
like,
PC.
almost overnight.
You can
in a
get
sense.
cross-buy if you buy an Xbox
No, I mean, we're
game.
still, and I hope
But
we
it's
show
like,
this today.
not all the
We're gonna be
multi-plats
about
don't do
building
that.
great
Most of them don't.
games for people to play, about giving them
Like,
choice on
what I mean is
Xbox to
third-party
go play.
games.
We've got a
If it's
broader
a
library
Xbox
of
first-party
games.
game,
The thing
you'll
I'm
get dual
starting to see,
entitlement.
which I really love, is the organic collaboration between our teams that are coming out, and trying to build that community of creators that, I mean, you and I will go back to the time of Xbox where we basically had 4 games: Fable, Forza, Gears, Halo. And we would just literally every 4 years, and I would have to come to E3 and I'd somehow try to make those 4 games seem different every year for the community. And now what we have in gaming is just an amazing collection of teams and franchises that are doing great work. So I think, you know, I feel an added responsibility as somebody who loves this industry for the franchises that show up on our stage. But I still think in the end, it's about putting amazing games out. Like, I'm really proud of the work that Ninja Theory did with Hellblade and how Hellblade's been the response to that. And we have an amazing internal team now that's focused on us doing a bunch of Unreal games as an example. And then you see things like South of Midnight, which might have been my game of the show. I thought it looked so good. You got Perfect Dark, you have Gears. So, like, for us, as the organization gets bigger, I think it's just more important that we can take bets together and try to do innovative, creative things, and that will continue to drive us.
All right, well, we've got to take a very quick break, but we've got lots more. Phil Spencer talking all things Xbox
right,
right
that
here
was
on
part
IGN
one.
Live. So don't go anywhere.
That was part 1. There's a part 2. Thanks to Jasper for sending me the links here. Let's see here. And I think there's only a little bit more of the Phil part, and then we're going to get into those. They're just going to show the games after that. So listen to the crowd there. They are hyped.
IGN Live, Xbox's Phil Spencer is still with us. Also joining us, though.
That's what happens. We have a
friends
great
from
showcase.
The Xbox family. Hugo Martin.
I think
creative director
soccer was
on
September,
Doom, the Dark
OCD.
Ages at id Software. We have Tiffany Watt from the Diablo team at Blizzard.
Oh, that Vessel of Hatred
And from the
cinematic
Call of Duty
trailer.
Black
Oh my
Ops team
god.
at Treyarch, we have Miles Leslie. Yes. Yes. All right, Hugo, I want to start with you, my friend, because like Phil, I go back to the 3.5-inch floppy disk days with Doom. You guys have been such amazing caretakers
Okay,
of the
so this
Doom
is
franchise. And you're
Just
taking
mainly just
a hell of a swing
conversation about the game. So we'll leave it at that for. Fucking Metal Gear was that rumor was right. So Jez has put out the best teases as far as what to expect, I think. Tom Warren was a little off with some of his stuff when he said not just Gears 6 or whatever on that. Like, the only thing we saw was Gears E-Day. We didn't see any other Gears thing there. So he made it seem like there was gonna be multiple Gears things at this show. So he was a little off on his stuff. It seemed like, anyway. Jez had hinted at Dragon Age on his prediction thing, and he also had been hinting at Metal Gear. So Jez had some good information about the show, but I don't know if anybody really had everything, like, or really knew everything that was going to be here. I think like some of like Grubb and Tom Warren stuff may have been more educated guesses. But this show was like, I think, kind of a wow factor moment for everybody that was watching it. Jax82 with a $10 super chat says, I think the problem with what Phil is saying is that he let Tango make a game they wanted, didn't sell well, won multiple awards, and it didn't matter what Game Pass allow. It didn't matter. That's what Game Pass allow, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. The misconception I think a lot of people have is, from my perspective, and basically what's come out from the reports, from people like Schreier and stuff, the misconception that people are jumping to is that Hi-Fi Rush was the Tango Gameworks was closed because Hi-Fi Rush didn't sell well. I don't think that's the reason why whatsoever. Same with Arcane Austin and the disappointment of Redfall. Yeah, you could say, obviously, if those were massive, huge successes, maybe it would have played out differently, right? So I'm not saying that doesn't weigh into potentially part of a decision. But when you look at what they were trying to do, it seemed like they're trying to cut some stuff down. And the reports that had come out was not about the success of the game or anything like that. It was more about timing and making cold, calculated decisions based on timing. And they wanted to get to a certain place, I guess, cost-wise, I think, and investment-wise. And they looked at how far away returns and how many returns they're getting from certain studios and what the investment's going to be in starting new projects. Do they really need those? And is it what impact is it going to have in the future versus everything else they have? And how long is it going to take to get those returns? And I think that was ultimately why they made the decision. And Phil can't really say why, or Sarah specifically, because they're not going to go there and say, well, this was just a money move because of pressure from money men and stuff at Microsoft, because we're trying to slim down, get more lean and mean and stuff with everything that we've been doing. And I think that ultimately is what the decision came down to. And it was a hard decision because they had to make a choice, and Phil didn't want to let anybody go, right? Like, he would rather invest more into Tango and rather invest more into Arcane and have them build games, I'm sure. But that's not what the numbers of where they were trying to get to dictated. And that's why the cold calculated decision came through. So ultimately, I think that's just cold dollars and cents, right? Of the future returns and how long it's going to take to get those. And you got to look at what they had. Like, Tango and Arcane Austin had released games more recently, and they didn't set the world on fire, you know. They did critically and stuff, but when they're looking at how long away it's going to be to get returns, it's not about that they didn't want to invest in those. It's just that about, like, well, if they're going to cut something, let's cut those studios, because those are the ones that are going to cost us the most for a while without getting anything back. So it sucks, you know, but I don't think it's like, after seeing what they're doing with all these games and like with Elsewhere Entertainment at Activision, that studio existing for 2 years, working on a new game, all that kind of stuff, other things that have been happening, I don't think it's a detriment anymore to the long-term vision of what they're doing. They've been doubling down on all that. This was just about getting to a certain point, and that's what it was. So I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. I just don't think he's not going to be able to sit there and tell you exactly what happened, because that's for the board and people that are making those decisions, right? And ultimately came down to him to make a decision, probably to have them be at a certain place with cost and versus returns and investments and forecasts and all that kind of stuff. And that's just what it comes down to, right? Neo, shout out to Neo, says, Matt, how could it possibly be a great showcase without 1 versus 100? Because the games like this, motherfucker, look at this shit. Perfect Dark. Who thought Perfect Dark would look like this? Like a cross between Deus Ex and Dying Light or Mirror's Edge, or like, it just looks crazy. And then when you get into the assassinations and stuff, like, this just, like, holy shit moments in this showcase, man. It wasn't just about the amount of games that they have from first party. It was about how good they looked. Like, I can't wait to fucking play this. Look at these environments and the detail. It's insanity that they had this much shit that looked this good. If you're into these kind of games, was watching that and I was like, holy shit, they finally showed Perfect Dark, but it's like beyond my wildest dreams, right? When we saw Fable, it's like, oh, we got to look again at Fable to see gameplay, but oh my God, it's beyond my wildest dreams. Like, holy shit moment after holy shit moment, dude. It was all just fire. And the new third-party games that we didn't know about before, like, dude, they just, like, made a statement. They just made a statement. Brandon Martin with the $2 super chat says, Mav, read Kotaku's headliner about Xbox show. What did what was, I need somebody to DM me Kotaku. I have Kotaku blocked actually on Twitter, in full disclosure. So I don't see what they say. Like that's been one of the most trash gaming sites for a long time. So they actually just troll and spread toxicity and stuff. So I actually just blocked them like 2 years ago. So I don't know what they said. I mean, I could unblock them just to like talk shit about them all the time. What did you give the Xbox showcase, Neo? Let's see who else we got here. Jay Nunyo, what's up? Just double check to make sure around half the games shown today at the Xbox Game Showcase are exclusive to Xbox and PC. Let's fucking go, boys. Xbox had a banger of a showcase. Yeah, and people were saying that I think they need to be ultra clear about exclusivity, about this and that. Like, my point was, and I was on Boom Show yesterday, and I was trying to make this point, is like, if things are still in consideration and they don't know the answer to these things, how can they be transparent? Because everything's always open for discussion. I didn't do the second half, Jasper, because it seemed that it was more specific on the games and stuff with the interviews there. There's no way to make it clear other than we're looking at doing other things also, right? And that's just what it's going to be. I think ultimately we're going to see some franchises like Doom be multiplat. We're going to see some games go later to PlayStation. We're going to see, and it's going to be on a game by game basis going forward. And that's just going to be the reality. And the thing that I think Xbox fans need to realize, and that us as console owners or people that are subscribed to Game Pass or whatever need to realize is what Phil just said. Like, the benefits of playing on Xbox are not that somebody else can't play the game that you're playing. Like, the benefit and value to you as a consumer playing on Xbox or on PC or wherever is not the fact that somebody else doesn't get to play it. That's not the benefit. The benefit is the cross-buy. It's the Game Pass subscription. It's how well the games perform on the device that you're playing on. The access to the ecosystem, the forward compatibility, the backward compatibility, the quality of life stuff, all this other shit. That's all what it's about as far as why you choose to play in an ecosystem. If you're not only focused on the pride of exclusivity, if you're not concerned about like having the trophies and stuff about other people can't play your games, so this makes your system better than the other, then your experience does not change. Like, for me, playing games on Xbox doesn't change if somebody else gets to play it. And that's just been the way it has been for me forever. So, like, when people ask before, say, how would you feel if they put Halo somewhere or they did this? I'm like, honestly, I really wouldn't care. You know? But I understand the business side of it, and I don't necessarily agree with the business side that they're doing, what they're thinking on certain games. I think it could be even more of a draw, like, to force people to buy your hardware. But then you got to think, well, maybe they want to sell the hardware to the people that want it, but they're not really pushing like crazy to grow their market share in the hardware space that much. They're more focused on putting the games everywhere, but they know there's still a console enthusiast in Xbox. There's people that want to buy Xboxes, so they're going to still sell them. Why? Because if there's millions and millions of people that want to buy hardware that are console gamers, they're going to make more money on every single one of those people that own the console because you're using their storefront. So for me, I was never concerned about them getting rid of the hardware. Like, that would be like 30 million people, even at, like, on a low end for a generation, right? Want to buy a piece of hardware to exclusively use your storefront, and you make 30% more on every microtransaction, everything that's sold in that storefront, as opposed to having to put your stuff somewhere else. Yeah, you're going to do that, right? You're going to give these people a way to access their storefront for those console gamers. And it was people were so afraid about hardware going away. I'm like, guys, it's not going anywhere. But we're still going to be playing on Xbox for a long time. It's just going to become more of an enthusiast experience because they're going to sell it and more gear it towards the people that are actually playing it and interested in it instead of having to cater to other kinds of gamers. And like, that's what I've been excited about actually in a way. Like, business wise, I can make an argument like, hey, make everything exclusive. You're going to sell more consoles. You're going to sell more this, that. Like, yeah, for sure. But that's not what their decisions are. And they're probably a little bit smarter than me when it comes to business. Then I would imagine that they're doing what they think is best for these games and stuff. Doesn't mean that we all have to like it or whatever, but ultimately what it comes down to is the focus on yourself and how does it affect you and your experience, right? For some, it's everything, right? Feeling special about exclusivity and that you have something that somebody else doesn't is what drives you to a place to play. For me, it's all those other features. It's all those other things. It's the community. It's the value proposition. It's the services they're providing and the games, right? And if I find value in all of that, I'm going to continue playing. So it's just is what it is. Like they're not doing anything that is going to drive me away as a consumer from the ecosystem. Like, in fact, practices that PlayStation has been doing over the last generation have actually pushed me a little bit more away from them. So I've spent more time on Xbox this generation as percentage-wise than I ever have before. Let's see here. What do we got in the chat? The storefront is very important. Don't deny that even in their boardrooms, for sure. Like, the storefront, like that's why they want to get their storefront on mobile devices. They want to get their storefronts everywhere, right? They're not going to like say, hey, 30 million people that use our storefronts, they're not going to be able to anymore. We're going to not make devices for you to buy. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, the YouTubers lost sleep or cried in their cars about games going to PlayStation was a bit much. Yeah, there was like, I don't want to call anybody specific out or anything like that, but like there was way too much doom and gloom about that aspect. Like, and it's over specific games, and yeah, there's probably going to be more, but we don't know what they're all considering. But what I do find is that when any of these reports that come out about considerations, they're taken by the community as announcements, right? And they're not even supposed to be announced. They're not even supposed to be a thing because they haven't even made the decision yet. Like, holy shit, Fable looks amazing, guys. I can't believe how good it looks. Anyway, but there's just considerations, right? There's no news to announce. There's no actual information that had been decided upon yet. When they have that information, they'll let us know or we'll make it part of the announcement. Like, if it hadn't been doomed and gloomed for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or with a month or whatever about Doom, then no, like this would have happened and we would have seen all these other games and Doom would have been like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Doom's multi-plat game in the past, like all these other ones are exclusive, so like, okay, right? But then you see like PlayStation have the state of play. There was no months and months of doom and gloom over PlayStation's shift in strategy about possibly putting their games and their franchises and their IPs on other platforms. They have the Summer Game Fest, and all of a sudden the first game at Summer Game Fest, their own IP Horizon, with now Lego Horizon, is going to the Switch, which is going to be a multi-plat. And then like there was no months of lead up to that, right? Because it didn't get leaked. There was no like, oh shit, like the strategy's gone with PlayStation. Oh, we're going to abandon ship. Like, people literally said they're giving up on Xbox to go to PlayStation, and then that's one of the first new games that are announced is going to the Switch, right? How stupid do you look seeing that state of play, then going and watching Summer Game Fest and seeing the PlayStation game there get announced for the Switch after you've abandoned ship for Xbox because they're putting some games in other places when they already have had games in other places. And then you see this Xbox show and you see all these games and you see everything is coming to Game Pass and all these other features, yet you decide that you cannot play on the console anymore because you don't feel special. It is a joke. It is an absolute joke to me. Some of the clowns and people that have been acting this way in the community about that. And it's like, look at these fucking games, guys. You want to abandon ship now? We said this like when this was all going on back in like January, February, and people were starting to like leave and say that, oh, they're worried they may not play on Xbox. You want to stop now when everything's cooking? You've been waiting. You've been patient for years when they were the underdog and they had to build everything back up. They're getting all these studios or start development on all these games. And yeah, it's a long process and it takes time. And they finally are start to giving us the fucking buffet and the feast. And it's going to be one of the best things we've ever eaten at the best value we've ever had. And you're like, no, I think I'm going to switch restaurants. And you go to McDonald's. How stupid can you be? Look at these fucking games. It's absolutely insanity. Yeah, 3-bit, if you want to hop on, dude, hop in the Discord, man. I can bring you up. McDowell's. They didn't even go to McDonald's. They're going to McDowell's. Just look at even the games for this year. Indiana Jones, Avowed, Age of Mythology Retold, right? Flight Sim, Towerborn, all this stuff coming this year. They got Concord, which is going to be dominated by other games that are free on their own system. There was another one of those that got announced tonight with that other card-based 5v5 game. What's up, 3-bit? How's it going, dude?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Let me see if I can't switch to the different cameras real quick.
Okay. Yeah, Replace wasn't there. That was like surprising not seeing it replaced. Because people apparently are playing.
Yeah, they're playing it.
Yeah. But Avowed, I guess they're showing two different. They're having an extended for Avowed tomorrow. Is that correct?
I have no idea. I think. Oh yeah, you know what I did? I saw that. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I saw something where they're like, "Is that Avowed?"
Okay, I'll just do it this way. Fuck it.
Luis Jimenez, you did some work on the Fable landscape visuals. Yeah, some of the landscapes, some of the building stuff, materials, and it did show up in the trailer, which is really cool.
So I'm kind of like hacking the camera system, so you can't see me, but the chat can.
Oh yeah, all good.
Yeah, it was cool to see that. Like, that's some of the stuff that you worked. Those were like I told you in the DMs. Like, those were some of my like wow moments. Right when I saw those environments, like
the two environments that I worked.
My job was fucking dropping at the visuals, dude. Like I honestly couldn't believe it. Then I saw you work. You say you worked on those, and that was like just insanity to me. It makes me super proud of you, man. You're doing some really cool stuff right now. You're not working on that anymore, but like, other stuff you're doing is pretty crazy.
I think it's been like 6 months, 7 months since I worked on Fable.
Yeah, and you said that it looked better since even the last time you worked on it.
Yeah, they added a lot more. I think I could talk about it a little bit since we've seen it, but like they added a lot more like atmospheric fog and even more grass and stuff like that. So yeah, looks great. Proud of the team.
Yeah,
it looks even better than when I
still have friends there you talk to occasionally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're awesome. Still. I bet they're over the moon right now, man, with pride after the reaction.
They're probably flipping out.
Yeah.
Like just me just watching it, even though, I've worked on it. It's different seeing it in a presentation format,
Yeah.
like where everyone's it's like the trailers going, seeing other environments I've never seen before, certain like cutscenes that I've never seen. So I mean that's cool. It's super cool seeing it all
Yeah.
come together. Um, Killer man. This whole showcase was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And when I remember you put in the chat earlier today because I was kind of like peeking in. I was driving somewhere, but I came back. Like, is this the best Xbox showcase? I think so. I really did like the one where they had the initial reveal for Perfect Dark. Like, I remember rating that show really high. I think that was the show.
Well, that I think Perfect Dark was shown for the first time at the Game Awards.
Was that the okay?
They had
Yeah, I guess that
Forza.
was it.
That they had Forza. They had Halo Infinite. They had State of
Yes.
Decay. Um,
Man,
what else
it
was
was
there?
one of the showcases we watched, and we rated it really high because we really liked it. And this is definitely up there. I mean,
Yeah.
this is to me the best
Well,
Xbox showcase. I do remember there was one that was
the
really
two
good as
two
well.
years ago, it was insane, right?
Yeah,
They showed a lot of stuff that was absolutely amazing, but like this one, like just absolutely surpassed everything. I think. So like, was
yeah.
it 2 years ago, the 12-month show? Yeah, 2 years. So it was 3 years ago. Because
Okay,
I think
so
two
yeah, yeah,
years ago was the 12-month showcase, right?
right.
Every game's coming out within the next 12 months, and then the last year's showcase was really good. But 3 years ago was a really good show, especially. Um, and that's the one we all kind of freaked out about. Last year's show too, we freaked out about. That was really good. But this one, like, it's like they keep getting better and better. This is the first one with ABK. You know?
Yeah, it's like the other show. Like Xbox has always had like pretty good showcases compared to Sony. Especially, it's been a while since Sony has had a good show, in my opinion. Like a good show. I would say like 2016 where they had an amazing show.
Yeah, 2016
I
was PlayStation's best showcase I've ever had.
yeah, yeah.
That was the
Okay, it
one
was
where they
2016.
that's the one where they set the table for like that second half of the PS4 generation that really
Right.
like was good. You know, they had a Spider-Man there, they had fucking Death Stranding showed up there for the first time. They had I think The Last of Us was there. Part
Oh
2,
yeah, yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 was I think
They
is
were
what it
just
was.
killing
I
it
can't
that
remember. There was
show.
like was it the first Last of Us? Maybe it's first Last of Us. I can't remember. There was like
Was it the first or second? Or maybe it's the
I don't
second
fucking
from
remember.
that.
But there was like
I just remember that year
six
being really good.
games that were just like, oh wow, and they're all coming out within like 2 years, right?
Right.
This is what Xbox did this time, but they even had more, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
for me, this is above that. Like this set up Xbox for the rest of this generation. The show did.
Yep.
Like they're obviously going to have a great show, and they're going to have other directs, and they had all that stuff. But the games that they showed between Fable, Perfect Dark, State of Decay, Gears, Avowed, like all these games just set the table for them. It's what they needed to do. Oh, by the way, I saw. Hey, you hanged your poster for your short.
Yeah, this wasn't there before,
Yeah,
right?
Crimson Tower, right? Yeah, that was
Yeah,
there earlier.
like Crimson Tower one, and then there's another one, but you can't really see that one.
Yeah,
But another
nice.
Crimson Tower one. But I'm hooking it up.
Yeah,
It's getting there.
one poster at a time. Love it, man.
Yep, one poster at a time.
Yeah, so somebody, Brett Bingham and Psycho both sent me Kotaku's headline.
What did it say?
Yeah, it said, this was the best Xbox showcase in years and the hardest to
Well,
root.
Kotaku's saying that.
But and the hardest to root for.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was waiting for I'm like, what? Kotaku's saying? Oh, I'm like, okay. Yeah.
It's just
It's only
funny because like every big company and publisher and corp had layoffs this year, right? But I think that's why they're focusing it on that, because they just closed some studios recently.
Mhm.
So they're focusing on that. But like all these other companies, like if they had play, they didn't say anything like that about the state of play, right? PlayStation had a shit ton of
Nope.
layoffs this year.
and
And Close
PlayStation
Studios
had
too.
an awful show. Like, did they say that?
I don't
Did
fucking pay
Kotaku?
attention to hardly anything Kotaku
I know
says.
I
The
don't
only
either.
reason I know this is because people send it to me. But like, they're just always trying to do that. Like there's been the usual people out there kind of trying to downplay a little bit, right? Keeley with the Gears thing, right? He
Yep.
acted like normally, like he does when Xbox does good. It's like, yeah, it was good, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And he puts out his poll, and the community just like overwhelmingly liked it, right? I think it like 70% almost say like it was an A for the Xbox show on his poll,
Yep.
but on his show
Which is
they
surprising
gave
because
him a
like
D.
his audience, I don't know.
Yeah,
It can go either way, I
we
guess.
we know how he feels about Xbox and stuff, like,
Yeah.
but he's willing to take their money, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Remember like his reaction when it was the I guess it was the Game Awards when they first announced like Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
the actual Xbox, like he seemed like he was pissed off. Like
Yeah,
he didn't know that was gonna happen. Like he was like, "Oh, well, Xbox," you know.
yeah,
Um, they'll learn. The media will learn over time. Like this is something we've been saying like over the course of our shows is Xbox just has too many games. Um, and over time, the media is not going to be able to ignore that. And this is just one of those things. It's just
yeah.
like the first domino to fall. So
And Indiana
they held
Jones.
stuff back. Like from what people have told me, this is not even the whole thing.
Right.
And it makes sense. I mean, we know about all the games that are already in development. We know the Wu-Tang game, right?
Yeah.
That is in development. We know the Contraband game. We know Replace didn't even show up here. Apparently, it's going to be in other things. There's just a ton of games that they didn't even show, but I don't even want to really bring that up because like that's not to discredit what was here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what was actually here at the show was like quality. Like people usually say like, "Oh, I wish this was here. I wish this was here." That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they have so much in development in general
Yeah.
that it's like they get to choose what to put in their shows now. Like I guess
I
I'll put
want to
this in.
know what was cut.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, all I know is that there was a lot that they had to cut.
Yeah.
So I do wonder what it was. Like I heard you were saying earlier, like Tom Warren.
Yeah,
Um,
he missed the mark on a couple
he
things. Like,
missed.
yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Grubb missed, kind of like was vague about some stuff, but like these guys that usually kind of know a lot, like I think they were more educated guessing this time. You
Hmm.
know, Jez is the one that seemed to hit on stuff the most.
Yo,
Um,
what did Jess say?
he had hinted towards the Dragon Age thing in his article. He hinted at it without giving it away. He had said that
Oh, okay.
like a weary there's going to be a gameplay or my Xbox has marketing for a game that's weary fan of a franchise that's returning of a weary fan base or something like that. That'll offer Solace too, and Solace was a hint towards the character from Dragon Age Infinite, or
Mhm.
Dragon Age Inquisition, and the gameplay debut was just announced that it's going to happen on the 11th, and they had marketing rights, right? And because the trailer was at the show, so Jez got that right. And then also he said that
Did he know World of Warcraft? Did he hint that at all?
I don't think so. I'm not
No.
sure. Yeah, I think he had said something about what was the other game that he maybe it was Doom. I can't. He had said one other game that was gonna be here or hinted towards
Yeah.
it. Metal Gear. Yeah, he hinted towards that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah. He
on
did
somebody on
hint Metal.
Twitter. Yeah, that hey, like he teased like that this isn't the show to watch for Metal Gear or something like that. You know, so
Yeah,
like
he
I
was two
think
for two for that
yeah.
one.
So I think he kind of had information right, at least a little bit, and he kind of got some stuff right. But Tom Warren was making it seem like there's more than one Gears thing.
Mhm.
At
The
least that's what we
collection,
took
like
away
he's
from it. Yeah.
hinting. Yep.
It would mean nobody predicted fucking Gears E-Day.
No,
Like a
I had no idea.
prequel. Like they're just like saying, hey, 6 can wait. Right? They're going back and kind of making the franchise and bringing it to its like former glory, man. It's like what everybody's been asking for. As much as Keeley tried to downplay the visuals of the trailer and say that it was all just CG.
If you're gonna downplay anyone, Coalition is not the team to
Well, the
downplay.
Coalition came out swinging
I
in
love the
defense.
team. Yeah.
Did you see that? What was going on with that?
Yeah, it was it was either the developers of the Coalition or it's the developers of Diablo. It was one of them, and they were basically saying to Jeff Keeley that like, no, these are in-game assets, and you're kind of discrediting the team.
Right. So he
team's
got
hard work.
He got called out by I think it was Guy Welsh and Hamir Blanco. Like, so Keeley just had to go out of his way to try and say this. The great Gears of War piece was a CG from Blur Studio using in-game assets from UE5. So he just called it a CG, like Blur video, right?
Yep.
Guy Welch says, glad you liked it. Blur developed the trailer hand in hand with our team using Unreal Engine 5. The trailer's developed with in-game models, textures, environments, and props that players will see in the final game. This follows the same method that we used for Gears of War trailers for the first 3 games, which were made in Unreal Engine with in-game assets, showcasing the engine's technical capabilities, and we're pushing that even further with Unreal Engine 5. So they came out quickly to correct him, right? Then, as well, Hamir Blanco, who is digital sculptor, cinematic character capture artist at Blizzard.
So they both did it. Okay, that's where.
Said,
I was thinking.
Let me rephrase this a little better. The Amazing Gears piece you just saw was full real time with real time models, textures, environments, etc., all with Unreal Engine 5. Saying it was a CG from Blur Studio diminishes all the technical achievements you probably didn't notice from how good it was. Though it looks like another pre-rendered CG piece from Blur, it was actually a real-time masterpiece using in-game assets and ray trace lighting in the same engine the game will play. Already seeing people say, yeah, it was cool, but it was a CG pre-rendered trailer because of stuff like this. Calling out Keeley, right? His thing, maybe Keeley's thing is going to get community noted. It should, you would think, right?
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, he always tries to downplay. I mean, it is what it is, but it is cool that they explained it. That this is what the game will look like, and we're now at a stage where, I mean, people did the same thing with Hellblade. They're like, this is not what Hellblade's going to look like. It's going to look down. Res.
I remember when we saw it for the first time, you're like, that's the way the game looks, and everybody's like. No, it doesn't look like that. Everybody, no, like
people just have to see at this
video.
point.
It's this video, and nobody believed that those little segments where they showed the little snippet of gameplay was gameplay. But now there's no denying it.
Yep.
Like
after Hellblade 2, can you really deny what these studios can do now?
No,
I mean, can't. Like Hellblade 2 was a great example of what Unreal Engine 5 can do. We're at a stage where I remember I used to watch those cutscenes with like Final Fantasy and stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish one day we can reach that. And we have. We pretty much have at this point, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, insane.
Nick was right about a lot of things. Special Nick was spot on with the state of play. I didn't see a lot of Special Nick's predictions for this show, but there was a lot of predictions I saw out there, and I think overall this was one that didn't really get leaked, which helped it.
Yeah, I seen you guys were commenting in the DMs. Were any of those rumors? I didn't even look at it because I didn't want to know either.
No,
and I know you didn't want to.
Yeah, one of them was that Blue Dragon was coming back and it was going to be here. That was spreading around.
Okay.
One that I knew that seemed that it was confirmed was State of Decay 3 was going to be here, right?
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
one that I was like, yeah, but then it made sense. So we all had kind of thought it might be a possibility anyway, right? So State of Decay 3 happened last night. There was a Blue Dragon thing going around last night. Then there was the handheld. There was two things that didn't really happen that I think came from, if I'm not mistaken, Nate the Hate.
Oh, what did he?
The handheld was going to be teased.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember 100%
A
who.
couple people said that.
Yeah,
They're like,
handheld was going to
we'll
be
see.
teased here, is what they said, or acknowledged, right? And that the there was going to be a game shadow drop.
It wasn't acknowledged in this showcase, but I guess in that Phil, it was acknowledged somewhere else. I think it was in that interview with Phil Spencer. I seen you started it.
I finished part 1. There was a second part where he's talking. Ryan McCaffrey's talking to Phil and the developers of some of the games. I didn't play that part, but the first part we listened to the whole thing here.
I thought he asked a question about hardware at some point. I don't remember when. Yeah, what part of the interview that was.
He had said that we're working in multiple form factors, I think is what the acknowledgement was that people are running away with right now. They obviously are working on a handheld. It's gonna happen. The question is, when are they gonna announce it and when is it gonna come out? I don't know those answers, but we'll find out. You know. They're gonna have a lot of things to announce
officially, so I would just say they're wrong. Whoever said that.
they did have. I'm surprised we didn't get the Elite 3 with the hardware announcement.
Honestly, if I were to speculate like why some of these people were wrong, I do think a lot of people in our community, like I remember we were talking about like how rumors spread and a lot of them were wrong, especially about Starfield. A lot of people are saying like this is confirmation the Starfield is going to PlayStation. Not saying it won't at some point, but so far it's not true. I feel like why a lot of the people weren't correct is because of the fact that they were constantly probably changing the show or cutting it a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe they just maybe it was never there in the first place. I do know that their hardware plans, based on what Sarah Bond is saying, is going to be pretty substantial. I really want a handheld. The more I hear about it, the more I want it. So and he did say, I remember Phil said something in that Ryan interview that he wants to make sure you can locally play games. So that was big,
right?
To me,
yeah, for a handheld,
yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Here's a clip somebody shared on Twitter. Here, I'm gonna play the audio. You won't be able to hear it, but it's about a minute long.
Yep.
I'm gonna play it right now.
Okay, go for it. We are given a ton of leeway to go and run and grow our business. But I'll say the thing that we challenge ourselves to do is to try to do new things. Like I think if I go back 8 years ago, we said, hey, we're going to go ship all of our games on PC and console, and if you buy one on one, you get it on the other. And I got some reaction from people of, this is the worst decision ever, this is going to be the end of Xbox. We announced Game Pass, and we started doing Game Pass. And I know some people looked at that and said, oh, you're going to teach people that games are free. And you're going to undermine the value in games. And what I can say sitting here today from our decisions on cloud, on Game Pass, on console, right now, we have more Xbox console users than we've ever had in the history of Xbox. And even...
Yeah, he acknowledged that they have more Xbox console users today than they've ever had in the history of Xbox.
Which is insane.
Well, it's like all the doom and gloom about all this stuff and the family. This is what I've been trying. They're not gonna just stop giving people hardware that they want, right? As a company, it's just a horrible decision. Unless it's a completely failed business model, but they make money. They're profitable. Their financials always are showing that they're making money. That they're profitable on their services and their storefronts and all these other things, right? And so it's that's been the metric of how successful they are they making money, and is there growth and all that kind of stuff. Now they just acquired all this shit,
Well, people use
right?
console sales as the
Yeah.
only metric, and that's why
And
it's
it's
stupid.
so like played out,
It's
man.
not
Like,
stupid, but it's just like there's other ways for the company to make money rather than console sales. Even Sony
they
has
lose
admitted,
money
like,
per console sold because the
yeah,
consoles are cost more to make.
for years that's been since I don't even
Maybe
know
they
how
caught
long.
up now, but for at least the first few years of this generation, that was the case, right? I don't know if
Right.
it's finally caught up and they're profitable per hardware unit now. I don't know, but that as of the ABK trial, they weren't, right?
Right.
So that a console sale isn't profit in and of itself, right? The profitability comes on the content and the services that the access to the console provides, the storefront to the user, right?
Because there's a lot of inactive Sony machines. Like people have bought the Sony. I remember seeing this article a while ago, and they confirmed that like a lot of people have bought PlayStation 5s, but they haven't turned it on or aren't investing in the ecosystem as much. So it's just like this is an interesting metric to that people keep using, that PlayStation is selling of like 50 million console sales, but even Sony's like, hey, we don't really want to use console sales as an internal metric. We want to start to use
Engagement,
engagement.
right?
And there's a reason why they're shifting to that model, because that's where you actually are making money.
Right. And that's why it always makes me go crazy when people say, "Oh, I'm leaving Xbox." Okay. So are you just saying you're not going to play the games that they make anymore? So you're giving up on Call of Duty, you're giving up on Diablo, you're giving up on Halo, you're giving up on Gears of War, you're giving up all those franchises. No, they're not. They're just saying they're going to play the game somewhere else when they're saying that, right? And you're not, if
Right.
you're doing that, you're not giving up on Xbox. You're just still giving them money, but at a different place that they're giving you the game to. They're okay with that. Like, you're not punishing them for doing a disservice
Like
to you
I'm
by
leaving Xbox and then you play
making
Call of
you
Duty.
feel less special, right? Like when people say this stuff, is like, what does that mean? Well, it means, oh, I'm not going to buy the next hardware. Okay, that means you're probably playing it on PC because you said for a generation how much you hate PlayStation. So like, you're just going to go play PlayStation now and then see them put their games in other places too and feel slighted again? Is that what you're thinking? Like, and this is the mentality that people have. It's like absolute insanity. But when they go to PlayStation, if they buy Xbox games there, if they do put them over there, guess what? You're still supporting Xbox, right? And Xbox
Yeah,
is still
you're supporting
winning
Xbox
by
with
earning your
more.
money. That's what they want.
Yeah,
That's why they put the games there. Like, it doesn't make any damn sense. They're gonna sell consoles probably still more than they have. I think it's still like some growth there that's gonna be happening.
Yep.
And it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the handheld space when they finally get that announcement. PC market is still growing a lot right now, and they're getting a lot of strides there with PC Game Pass and with the games going there. And like, as a consumer, I'm looking at all these things that they have. They're all like, all the first party stuff's gonna be on PC and console day and date, and I get it all in my subscription service.
Yeah.
And
You're the people who are
I am
like, I'm
not
leaving
going to
Xbox.
complain if somebody else gets to play the fucking
Right.
just me personally, you know.
No.
But
Yeah.
I got one thing that's what do you think about the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X being with the Galaxy theme, with the colors, with like the splatter? You see that?
It's pretty cool. I'm just wondering, like, when are they gonna start doing like more of the skins like they did with Starfield?
Yeah.
You know,
I-
that's the only thing that came to my head when I saw that.
It's interesting
So
that the discless Series X is the same size as the regular Series X.
yeah,
Same
that was
form
interesting
factor.
too.
So maybe they're planning on doing more skins. But like,
I wonder if they're just gonna start manufacturing a lot, knowing that Call of Duty is around the corner, and they
yeah.
know a lot of people want it. So that's probably why they're like, let's just just take the discount.
Will they have a skin without a slot for a disc slot and a skin with a disc slot?
I guess they have to, right?
Yeah, because like my wrap, I have the wrap and it has like the disc slot in it. So if they do more wraps, like for the digital one, they'll have, if they do one for those consumers, it'd be weird having the slot there, but like nothing behind it. But I
Yeah, I
guess
guess they gotta. Well, if that disc thing wasn't there, that will it still look good, or
I don't know.
can it
Like,
still? I'm just wondering.
yeah, I mean, I'm
I
looking
don't
at
have
it
one.
right now, and I mean, I guess it would be okay, but it would just be white.
Hmm. So it could theoretically. I mean, maybe that's why they're holding off on creating those plates because they want to make sure all the Xboxes are there
Yeah,
first. I do wonder if that's why, because they only have like one plate, right? It's just the
yeah.
Starfield one.
Did they say how much these new consoles are yet?
Yeah,
Is it,
they did. Let's see someone actually gave me the prices.
I'm
Where did
guessing
I
the
see it?
discless one maybe $399.
Three new pieces. Dang, someone needs to. Oh, okay, the robot white 1 terabyte Xbox Series S will retail at $349.
So that's the Series S. Okay.
So that's the Series S. The 1 terabyte digital edition Xbox Series X and Robot White will be 449.
So only
$449.
$50 less than the other one. Well, it was the 2 terabytes probably gonna be like
That's the one
600 bucks.
terabyte.
$599
Yeah.
for the 2 terabyte special edition, probably.
That's what I'm looking for. I don't see that one. They just say this is on Windows Central actually. They just say the 1 terabyte and
Okay.
the Series S one.
Yeah, I don't know how long the special edition one might be, um, like only for a limited time or whatever. $599, Lucius says. It's
Okay. Okay, $599.
Yeah, so a Series
Whew.
X today, normal price would be $449, I think, right?
Right.
So you get a $50 cheaper version without the disc drive.
Not bad.
Yeah. Did you see the file size for Call of Duty? They
Is it
announced
like basically an Xbox?
it's a Series S, pretty much. It's
Okay. It's for the
309.
Mm,
But I think that's the whole
wow.
thing for like, like you can probably like not have everything installed, kind of like they do
That's something
before.
they need to really work on
Yeah.
with I'm guessing their textures need to be compressed. I don't know. There's something their engine is really old, but they updated that engine over time. It's just the ID Tech engine, right? Call of Duty. Um that they modified over and over so it's basically a new one. I feel like their textures or whatever. That game is way too big. Is my whole point. Every single Call of Duty is too big. It needs to be
Yeah. They need to slimline that
downside.
shit.
Yeah,
Um
way too big. Way too big.
they
But
yeah, 309. It's insane, dude. Like I don't know what Ubisoft does to compress and optimize their files, but even their big games don't take up that much space.
yeah,
I don't know that the people they need to look at it. Something's wrong with their process there, and they need to figure
yeah. I
that shit
wonder
out.
what it is. I'm guessing it's just like their textures. They have a lot of maps, and
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
they
know.
do the 4K texture resolution pack separately, even usually too. Like,
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just something with the engine, I guess. Lucius said COD is, despite being huge, is very efficient on low end hardware. I mean, I agree. It feels good and smooth when you play it and everything on different specs and different systems. But goodness, they still need to fix something. It's too big. It's just I don't know. There's no reason why it should be that big.
OCD says it's a Ubisoft secret. Yeah, I don't know, like, because I was able to install like 4 or 5 big Ubisoft games for like one Call of Duty. It's like
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Chris
Every
Jones,
time, yeah, but
$5 super chat. Appreciate you, Chris. Says, what was your favorite game shown? I need to rewatch at home in 4K, but Expedition 33 so far was my favorite.
oh,
What was your favorite game shown through it? You
Uh,
said earlier
I'm,
Fable.
yeah, I'm gonna take Fable out of it
Yeah,
because my
your bias.
connection bias towards it. Favorite game shown. Um, I I want to say Gears. I mean, it was really cool seeing Gears, but there's a lot of unique games that was in the showcase, which is it's really hard for me to just pick one. Just because it was really cool seeing South of Midnight. Like the style in South of Midnight was amazing and unique, and I love the like southern flair that was in it. But it was also cool seeing freaking Doom, medieval Doom, like Hexen inspired Doom, where he had like a shield
Mm-hmm.
and the skull, which I didn't catch the first time I watched it. The skull and the gun was like shattering into bullet pieces. It was freaking awesome. Um, Call of Duty is a game I haven't like been wanting to play for a while, just for different reasons. I like the old ranking system, and I'm just a.
You
I feel
saw
like I'm
they're
just getting
bringing
old.
the old school prestige system back, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, ooh, like there's a lot of things in Black Ops 6 where I'm just like, okay, I think it's time for me to return. It's a good time for me to return. Yeah, there's just so much, man. Yeah, if I had to pick like my top three, South of Midnight was awesome. Um, Gears, the fact that they went to it feels like they're watching our podcast. It really does
Yeah.
with some of these shows. It feels like they're watching our shows because this is literally what we've been kind of complaining about with the Gears franchise. Like we want it darker. We want to go back to having Marcus and Dom. Like we want that back. You can do that with Gears, or I don't know, figure that out essentially. And they did. That's exactly what they gave us with the freaking trailer song of Mad
Yeah.
World. It's just they're watching our shows. Um so Gears, South of Midnight, and someone mentioned like that 33 thing
Yeah.
where
I
you thought it
keep
was like
forget.
33.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the full name of it. It's like something 33. Like,
That looked cool. I want to rewatch that, but Metal Gear.
ooh,
Probably
okay.
for me. That it's gonna change. You ask me this same question tomorrow, it's gonna change.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much. But what about you?
Age of Mythology Retold was really cool. It looked a lot better than I thought it would. I love RTS games, but besides that, my most impressive game I saw was Fable.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was trying to take Fable out of it, but
for
yeah, I was
I won't because there's like I understand the
yeah,
bias for you and stuff, but like for me, the Fable blew my fucking mind.
yep.
Like I saw it, and that's like one of those moments of like I've never seen a fantasy game like that look
It
with that
looks that good.
style and aesthetic that
Yep.
has the realistic look, but it's still fantasy. Like it pulled off this style that I've never seen created really in a game before. And but the thing that set it over the edge was seeing the town, right?
Yep.
Because that gave me the vibe of the classic Fables, but it's brought to us in this new way. And
Yep.
just seeing the environment there of like I want to walk in that town. I want to go if it's like the old Fables where you can go into the individual buildings and all that kind of like I want to live in that town. I want to go there. I want to buy the property there. I want to do everything I could in the past Fables. I don't know what else is going to be possible in this because it's a new game, right? But I just wanted to be in that world the second I saw it. Like I had to. I have to be transported there. I need it. I need that experience. Perfect
Yep.
Dark was number 2 for
Oh
me.
wow, how did I forget about Perfect Dark? Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've had more questions than anything about Perfect Dark. What was funny is like we were before you showed up, 3-bit, we're talking about Perfect Dark and like what we think it could look like or what we think about it and stuff. And it was almost like we described the fucking game to a T. Because when it showed up, it was like that's what we almost said. Like exactly almost what we said is like what we saw. But
Yep.
it wowed me in the fact of all these different kind of things. Like Fable, I've never seen a game look like that plays that way, that looks fantasy, but also that kind of aesthetic, but also real, right? With Perfect Dark, they kept somehow they kept the vibe and charm of the original Perfect Dark games with some of the aesthetic choices they made, but they brought it into this amazing looking detailed world that also I can't wait to go explore. And with the gadgets and the spy gadgets and stuff that you have at your disposal, all of that just looked amazing. And then the takedowns, like the close quarter takedowns that she was having with the animations from a first person perspective, just looked sick. And then they showed the more fluid movement, so it was like it kind of felt like more of a actiony, more fluid based Deus Ex kind of thing, right? It's where
Yeah.
which
It surprised me. I completely agree. It surprised me how it feels like Perfect Dark. I don't know. I was expecting something like I seen earlier gameplay of it. It was leaked to me, but it looks different. It looks like it's a Perfect Dark game. Like
yeah.
it was just really cool to see. Like when we first was watching it, I'm like, dang, that really feels like Perfect Dark, and it like with the UI elements, like you're a spy, Deus Ex and Mirror's Edge all condensed into like one game. Looks freaking sick. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm trying to like remember. There's too many games. I'm kind of like scrolling
Yeah, I
through. Like
gotta pick it up.
those are the two that wowed me the most.
You got one more.
Oh, I know. Diablo Vessel of Hatred trailer was sick, dude. Oh my god. Like her arms splitting open like that, and like that was just like crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
A quick shout out to that mixtape game. That looked really good.
Oh yeah, I stepped out for like 5 seconds when that happened, but I started to rewatch it. It looked pretty. Were they like flying? Is that the game where they're like flying? Yeah, that looked pretty cool.
Okay,
Looked pretty dang cool.
I remember my third one. Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I would say Avowed. It's like I want to put Avowed on this list because like it wowed me too because it looks like my kind of game. Like I want to be there. But what they showed from Indiana Jones and how they're able to recreate the feeling that I'm watching an Indiana Jones movie with the writing, the acting, like the scene, the whole way the scene played out, like with the physical humor plus also the, like I said, the writing and but also everybody's acting too, not just Indy, but the characters, the other characters they created for this. Like it looked like the best Indiana Jones thing I've seen in forever.
You could tell they did research, dude.
Yeah, just so much. I was like, man, this is Indiana Jones through and through. Like I watched the movie last year, or that came out, or it was earlier this year, last year, I can't remember. And then I had we saw the other movie, and like, was it 10 years ago or something? Crystal Skull. Like this was what I want as an Indiana Jones fan. I want to see that what they showed me. It feels like classic Indy, and that's all I can ask for. Like, and they showed it looked fantastic. Graphics looked great. Everything. I just want to experience that adventure. Like, so Indiana Jones, I think, had for me probably the third best wow factor with that. Yep. And when he went choo choo and stuff, I got to still go clip that and add it. I got to add a little button to activate that on the streams and stuff. Yeah. But dude, it's just impressive. I mean, you could put so many games. South of Midnight was a crazy surprise, dude. I did not expect.
Who knew it would look like that?
No, nobody. Like the gameplay style.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's complete. Well, I guess they're a new studio, so it could have gone a lot of ways. Well, I don't know.
I mean, they've made games before, but like nothing like this. I mean, they did We Happy Few.
Yeah, but
and then the other.
What else did they do besides We Happy Few?
They did another game before that was better received than We Happy Few, but it was a smaller game. Contrast. They did Contrast.
Oh, okay.
And they did We Happy Few. A lot of people didn't really like We Happy Few. There's some that like it. But they've been working on a long time, right? And you can see why. Like, this is like a really impressive game. They've been building up the studio. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when we saw it for the first actual gameplay for the first time. I was like, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting this from South of Midnight. It looked amazing.
Yeah. And Fritzl says you're listing every game, man.
I know, man. It's like,
But it was hard for me too, honestly. Like Indiana Jones, the last showing of Indiana Jones, I rewatched it, not even joking you. Like I would look at people's reactions.
yeah.
I looked at that trailer probably more than 40 something times. Just because of how much I love Indiana Jones
Mhm.
as a character. And with this trailer, you could tell, like, if you couldn't tell in the last trailer, you could definitely tell with this one that they studied the Indiana Jones movies, like even the dialogue of how they're talking and like the humor, like his smirk and stuff, like the pauses in their speech, and then like when the music kicks back in, the punches when he punches, it literally sounds like the movie, like everything, like down to a T. You could tell before they started development of Indiana Jones, you could tell that they sat all the developers down. They're like, your job is to watch this movie over and over, and then we're gonna make a game off of it.
Yeah.
Like it really feels that way. So they did a great job. They did a good job.
I mean, you could say Call of Duty was fucking impressive too. Like, I don't think I've been as excited to play a Call of Duty campaign in a long time as I am this one, and that's
Yep.
because of what they showed us
Same.
at this direct.
Same.
Right. I'm excited for the multiplayer too. The maps that they showed teases of kind of looked really good, but overall the story, like for what they're going to be doing in that era, it just looks absolutely crazy.
I have not played a Call of Duty game in a long time. This is time.
You're not even gonna have to buy it 3-bit.
Nope. That's the crazy part. I think what hit me, because this showcase hits me in waves
Mm-hmm.
of like stuff I really liked. I think what hit me after the show, after I was like, wow, after we all watched it together, I'm like, wow, that was really cool. I'm like, and I was thinking about how I'm gonna get these games. I'm like, oh wait, I have Game Pass. I'm just gonna be able to just download it when it comes out. I have Game Pass stacked. So wow, all that in Game Pass. Most of the show, I would say 90% was Game Pass.
It's like 18 games or day one Game Pass. So
Yep.
they broke down the numbers earlier. I think Aaron Greenberg did. Aaron Greenberg also had to call out somebody, Michael Pachter, who was like,
Oh,
I
what is
think I
that?
counted 7 or 8 games that are day one Game Pass, and he was talking positive about it. He was saying like Sony's like it's going to make a big impact or whatever for Xbox. You know, seeing all these games day one Game Pass, and then Aaron Greenberg had to like, I know it's easy to lose count, but there's actually 18 games day one Game Pass, right?
Mm,
So it was
yep.
it was over half. Over half the games were day one Game Pass. Even some of the third party stuff that were new game reveals, right?
Yep.
They had a lot of. I don't know if you've been checking out Xbox Wire today.
Mm-mm. I was reacting with you guys. I saw a little bit of the Phil interview. I seen Dirt was with Dave and
Yeah,
stuff, so I was hanging out with them a little bit, and then I'm just now getting back, so that's all I know.
Xbox Wire has like breakdowns on a lot of the games, like in depth,
Hmm,
right?
nice.
Um, they have stuff from South of Midnight, Gears of War, Perfect Dark, Avowed, the hardware stuff, Indiana Jones, Doom. I mean, everything that was at the show, it seems like they have like a pretty good breakdown on. So I suggest if you
Nice.
want more information there, but also there's
Yeah,
more
for sure.
info coming in the coming days too, because there's going to be like further deeper looks into some of this stuff. And I know that they said also in the coming weeks, the Xbox podcast that they do, they're going to have in-depth looks at the games that were at the show also.
Yeah, like I guess last year they did an extended showcase, right? For I can't remember what games it was for, but I feel like they did it last year.
I think they had an extended showcase thing. right? But not like
Yeah. Was it
they're
just
gonna do.
Starfield or something?
That was the Dev Direct.
Oh yeah. Well, well, anyways, they're gonna have one for Avowed, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Seeing more from that game.
Okay, so here's the
'Cause
stats.
yeah, go ahead.
30 games shown, 30 games coming to PC as well. So all the games are also coming to PC. 18 are coming day one to Game Pass and PC Game Pass. 17 of the games shown were first party games.
Wow.
And one more thing is what they said. So the math there, I saw more than one non first party game coming day one to Game Pass. So the math there doesn't check out for me. Because the 18, 30,
Let me.
17 first party games. Well, unless they're counting the first party games as games that are already in Game Pass, as shown as like Shattered Space, like Starfield thing. That's an expansion. That's not,
Okay.
going to be in Game Pass. You're going to have to pay for
because
that, right?
Call of Duty, Game Pass, Indiana Jones, Gears, Doom, Avowed, Diablo, Flight Sim, Stalker
Right. Yeah,
2, Age.
WoW isn't on Game Pass also. They showed that. So I think some of the ongoing games they
Okay.
showed, like they didn't include that with day one on Game Pass. So the third party is made up
Right.
of that. Insane.
Thieves. There's one team I'm like, I mean, I'm proud of Rare, whatever. Sea of Thieves. Great.
Yeah.
Where the heck
Where-
is Everwild?
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
talking about this for so long.
Where Psycho was convinced it was going to show up this year.
That team, they don't know what the heck Everwild is.
Yeah.
But I'm just specifically talking about Rare because goodness gracious. But
We
wow.
saw the only new content we've seen from them as far as a new thing besides add-on content for Sea of Thieves
Mhm.
is their barn.
Yeah, but I thought they were showing their barn because they were getting ready.
I was hoping so. You don't like be silent on Everwild for years and then be like the first news you post about that's something besides Sea of Thieves is your barn.
Yeah.
You're like I wanted to see I want to see what it is, man. But like I guess they're just letting them cook. I don't know. Maybe they're still working on what it is, and but that was one we saw 4 years ago, and we haven't seen it since. Still, so we'll see.
We'll see. Lucia says, "Never wild."
Never wild, yeah.
No, I mean, we'll see. They did such a good job on Sea of Thieves. I think they're just giving some breathing room and building that game out to its popularity and has a ton of players and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just really want to see that team do some damage with some other games and stuff.
I always see Psycho say this, and this is where we got this from too. Because Psycho, you were always saying this that they said 2 years ago it would come out in 2024. I've never seen it or heard them say that before. So I've been convinced of this because you keep telling us this. So where I want some kind of like link of a video or like article or something where they said in the past that it was coming in 2024. Because the only things I heard in the past was that they were working on it and trying to figure out what it was, right? And that's
just take COVID and that adds like a year or two to development for a lot of studios. So
yeah,
that means 5 or 6.
Well, they lost a creative director. He had left, and they then they talked about it after that once, but they didn't show anything.
Psycho said it was a video. So, it was a video from the devs. Maybe what he's talking about is when they announce Everwild, they do like those little dev like interview stuff. Maybe they said it in there, but I don't remember. It was so long ago.
What video, Psycho? Where was this video? In one of their diary vids? Is it on their website? I gotta find find it, Psycho. I need to see evidence that this exists except in your mind. Because I've never seen anybody else ever mention this. But you're so convinced of this that I have faith that you know that they said this. So I have faith that you're being genuine, that you heard this. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying, like, I want to see the same video because I've never seen it, and no, I don't think anybody else has. So I think that video has 1 view.
It's like
Psycho's view. It's like it's it. It's just sitting there, like at the end of their like YouTube thing. It's just like 1 view from Psycho.
Spider-Man said you have no faith. Yeah, find your faith. What was it lack of faith disturbing?
I have faith that in Rare, I think they're gonna eventually make a good game. I just like want to. I'm like you. I want to see it. Contraband's another one that was missing, right?
Yep, Contraband was missing. Wu-Tang, the Wu-Tang game was missing.
Yeah, Project Dragon.
Project Dragon was missing. Project the IO thing.
Yeah, that's the Project Dragon. You had
343, whatever they're working on with Halo, was missing.
yeah,
Which
Elsewhere
Delilah came
Entertainment's
in.
game,
Shout out.
People Can Fly's game, Double Fine's games.
Yep.
In
Double
Exile
Fine.
wasn't here with Clockwork.
Yep. There's a couple.
Yeah, Aura was
there's so many
not
games.
here. Towerborn wasn't here.
Replace wasn't here for some reason.
Yeah, neither was 30. I mean, there was several Game Pass Day 1 indie games that weren't here. 33 Immortals wasn't here. Silk Song wasn't here. Replaced wasn't here. There's actually a very small indie presence at this show.
Yeah, it was like 2 games.
You had that mouse
three
game.
games.
You know, you had the mouse game, and like you had the Annapurna game, right? Mixtape.
Yep.
What else was there? I mean, you had Life is Strange, but that's not really indie, you know?
You had Mixtape, you had that mouse game. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, you had the Kepler interactive like games that looked amazing, but those aren't indie, you know?
Yeah. It's a good lineup, dude.
Then you had the game that's going to be more popular than Concord. This 5v5. At first, I thought this was Overwatch. I knew I thought it was gonna be like the Overwatch campaign or something like that because of the way the character looked. And I thought it was gonna be like a new character or something, but it turned out it was a whole new 5v5 hero shooter, the most popular genre it seems like to create right now.
The Mecha Break game looks so sick.
Yeah, it does.
Steel was saying like, "Oh yeah, it's you know it's in beta or I played it or I've never even heard of it." So that was like an awesome show for me. I never even heard of that game. It looks so sick.
Oh, okay. So Psycho came through.
Psycho
came
Chris
through.
says, "How's development coming along for Abandoned?" I am not working on that game right now. There's too much going on.
All right, shout out to Psycho who came through. All right, so this is from Wiki. It says video game journalist Jeff Grubb stated in a stream on June 12th, 2021, that Everwild had been rebooted since its initial development and was a ways off, scheduled for approximately 2023. A Video Game Chronicles report on June 14th, 2021 corroborated that Everwild underwent a complete reboot after departure of creative director Simon Woodruff, but stated that its planned release date had been pushed back to 2024, saying Everwild's development team is now optimistically targeting a 2024 release. Now, I will give you credit that this 2024 date does come from somewhere, right? But it's like I will not give you credit yet saying that it came from a Everwild video, because this is saying that it was a Video Game Chronicles report.
Oh, and Steel say he hasn't played it. Okay, I thought you said you played it, but I've never heard of it. That game looks so sick though. But yeah, you know what? We give a semi praise to Psycho. You get
semi praise because he's not pulling it out of his ass, but Video Game Chronicles could have been pulling it out of their ass.
True.
So we don't know.
He says, "Hold on." He's trying to get the
he's trying to get the full credit.
He's getting those
I love it,
receipts.
man. What's the rat game called? It's called Rat. The game Winterboro.
Is it? Oh, that's Winterboro.
So that's Game Pass day one. That 30. I want to watch the trailer again for that 33 game.
Yeah, that game surprised the heck out of me. Was that the one where it looked very like the old Final Fantasy, like you had
Yeah,
the
it's medieval fantasy,
yeah that
high
look.
high fantasy, right? Um, looks like, but like JRPG combat,
Mhm.
you know, like JRPG. Sandfall Interactive. Gotta learn, where is Sandfall Interactive located? Because
I
that's studio. Fuck, man, what
Where
they
are they
created.
made? What did they do
I
before
mean, no idea.
Sandfall Interactive?
I wonder if this is like one of the new studios that was created in recent years or something. You know,
They're a France studio.
I get the vibes from the trailer. It's got
Yeah.
French vibes.
Um, the guy who, well, at least the founder, he worked. Oh no, that's just his favorite games. Trying to see what they've worked on.
The game's called Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Sure. Hmm.
It looks
I feel like they're a new
gorgeous.
studio because I don't see what else they worked on.
Yeah, I was trying to find a wiki about them.
I guess they were just former Ubisoft developers,
Okay.
and now they're working on the Expedition 33.
Yeah, it's like the combat for the JRPG mechanics like has Lost Odyssey vibes to me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're just a bunch of like AAA devs decided to make a studio in France, and now they're making that game. I
Um,
literally, I don't.
fuck, man.
If you guys can find what else they worked on, I don't think this. I feel like this is their first game,
Yeah, they have 658 subscribers on their YouTube channel and 4 videos.
and they're all
They're all this from like 11
this game.
hours ago,
Okay.
just in like the soundtrack and like the trailer.
Yeah. Cool.
Um,
I
it
love to see new studios.
Sandfall. Okay, there's a separate channel. Says made this other channel is made by the Sandfall devs to share their stories, but they only have one video that was made 3 years ago.
Yeah, and when I was looking up like their history, the Sandfall game was Project W. So for a while
Yeah.
they called it Project W.
Okay, I'm gonna play this video here on the screen because this is from their developer, and it seems like early work on this game.
Hello everyone, it's Guillaume from Sandfall Interactive, and today I'm going to show you how to
This
sculpt
is
your
Sandfall.
metahuman
Yeah,
in
this is
ZBrush without
MetaHuman
breaking
to
the rig.
ZBrush.
So going from something that looks like this to something
Oh yeah,
that
they're
looks
trying to
like
break the rig.
this. Okay, so how do we do that? So first we have to do metahuman. We try to create a metahuman
that's
that is
real
as close as
time.
possible to the final models that we want, but metahuman is pretty limited in terms of what you can do right
This looks
now.
like the main
So just try to
character
get something
from the
as
game.
close as you can. So then it's
The
a classic
Claire.
pipeline where it comes from
Yeah.
the bridge here.
I tried to
and
make
you
your
can
face
export
in
it
this
into
program.
your
It didn't work out.
Unreal Engine.
That's when
it
I
did
look like
work,
the old Asian guy.
Okay, so once you're
Yeah,
there,
I just
like
I clicked
you
on
just
like that
enter
first
into
face or
here.
whatever, and then I was like,
You'll
yeah,
notice that the
I could make
textures are
Mav's
not
face from this, and then yeah, it didn't turn out.
This is like their one of their devs, just working on this meta stuff on the game.
Cool. Yeah, they obviously it looks even better now. This is very early stuff. This is like the
Yeah.
stuff I do.
Well, this is like
random.
3 years ago. Yeah. When they must have
Dang.
just formed their studio and started working on the game.
Yeah.
And he's like
Wow.
making like tutorials on how to do this stuff. Like, I mean, it looks impressive. I don't know anything about what they're doing. I know you do. You probably find it more interesting than me. But yeah, this existed 3 years ago.
And now it's
Yeah.
freaking looking great.
Yep.
So you got south of midnight on the screen.
Yeah, South of Midnight. Just surprised. Like I said, this combat, dude. Like, it looks
They
great.
must have looked at like Spider-Verse or something like I've noticed sometimes the frame rate is it doesn't seem like it's 15 frames, maybe it's like 20 frames per second.
For the
And then
animation, for
it
the stop
yeah,
motion. Yeah.
like the stop motion look, and then it like gets smooth at some port. Like they artistically choose when to mess with the frame rate. I guess when she's running, it looks kind of smooth. But I haven't gone back and looked at it on my 4K TV yet, so I want to see those little details. But it seems like they're picking and choosing when to
Yeah.
do the frame rate thing.
The
Looks really,
world seems mostly smooth.
mostly like 60.
Yeah, but like her, she seems like 20 maybe or something. I don't know. It's interesting though.
Yeah, she seems smooth here. I can't tell. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch because like when she's climbing, it's like certain movements she does where it like slows a little bit, but it still looks
Mhm.
smooth. So I can't tell. I'm gonna go back and look at this. Jacob Tupua says cutscenes are stop motion and gameplay is not. Ah, but when she was like climbing up the
Yeah,
thing, it looked like
it's still stop motiony with the movement. Like you can tell like with the movement like there's a purposeful like movement
yeah,
thing with the frame rate.
yeah. It's like when she was running, I didn't see it as much, but when she was climbing the little thing, the little tower, it seemed like it was cutting some frames there on purpose. So
Yeah, it seems like living things are like less frame on purpose.
yeah,
The environmental things
pretty cool.
are
I don't see a
stable.
lot of people doing that art style. The only other game I seen do that on purpose was actually Spider-Man. um, with the
Oh yeah,
Spider-Verse.
with Spider Verse, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably where they got inspiration from that, you know.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
We're gonna bring up back and pat. Yeah, that was something that was missing. Not necessarily back and pat, but the Game Pass drop of Call of Duty stuff. I didn't see anybody talk about
Yeah.
it today, or Call of Duty or any ABK things. They didn't mention. I guess they're just ready not to announce it. But I think everybody expected them to acknowledge that or talk about it or drop some stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was expecting it here. But I completely forgot after they dropped all those games, I honestly forgot about it. But I wonder when they're gonna do that.
Don't know. Well, guys, it is 12:30 a.m. here.
Yep,
1:30 for you
1:30 here.
East Coasters, like 3-bit.
Yep.
And this has been an amazing day for gaming. It's been an amazing day for Xbox. It's been an amazing day for us having everybody here hang out and talk games with us. 3-bit, thanks for hopping on with me tonight, dude.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy lately, so you didn't have to, but it's awesome to always have you. So, but you got a show coming up next week, right?
Yep, next Sunday, Pixelated Echoes returns. So me and Fuzzy has a lot to talk about from this showcase, and yeah, it is a lot of great Xbox news to come. So we're gonna have a lot of cool topics on that on Sunday, and then tomorrow, well, today, later today, FSP. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that later today on this channel, and I'll
Yeah.
see you guys
Fuck. Yeah.
later, man.
I bet
Great show.
I have this gut feeling because tomorrow's Monday that they have like some cool news to drop tomorrow
Yeah,
following the
yeah.
showcase. That's going to be slightly separated, by a day. I for some reason have this gut feeling that they're going to do that.
I wonder if we should just like watch some of it tomorrow on FSP. Like, if they're gonna show gameplay for Avowed and stuff, that'd be kind of cool
Yeah.
to react to. But we'll see.
Well, one thing we are going to do tomorrow is co-stream the Ubisoft Forward.
Oh, is that tomorrow?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. So we're going to be doing that.
Oh.
It is at. I have to keep looking. we're going to be going live
Oh,
at
Kate jumped in. She said 3.
yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be going live. So I want to cover any other news that drops tomorrow leading up to the Ubisoft Forward. And then watch the Ubisoft Forward. We're going to see more Assassin's Creed. We'll see more Star Wars Outlaws probably. I'm sure that some of the other like stuff like X Defiant maybe will show up. I'm not sure, but crossing my fingers. I know people have been saying it's not going to happen, whatever, but it's still in the back of my mind. Cross my fingers that maybe we could see a glimpse of Splinter Cell. Yeah, 2 our time, baby. 3 p.m. Eastern time. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll drop by. I'll be on a commercial shoot, but I will probably be back by like 4 or 5. So we'll see.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, chat, appreciate you all, and we'll see you tomorrow if you hang out with us for Ubisoft Forward or afterwards for FSP. Have a good one, everybody. Take it easy.
All right. Bye, y'all.